With 8 days until the start of the NFL Draft, the league has released the full regular season schedule for 2019. Week 1 features Green Bay at Chicago to kick off the season on Thursday night, plus 2 stellar matchups on Monday Night Football, with Texans at Saints and Broncos at Raiders. Who's the biggest winner from the new schedule? Which games should you circle on your calendar? Our panel of ESPN NFL experts weighs in. Skip to a question. What's the matchup you're most excited about? Which team, or division, is the biggest winner? What's the one lock from the new win total over, unders? Who's your pick to play in, and win, Super Bowl 54? Which game have you circled on your calendar? Matt Bowen, NFL analyst, Green Bay at Chicago on Thursday, September 5th, Week 1. Come on, it's opening night at Soldier Field. That's old school. And we get a primetime seat to watch Aaron Rodgers, in his first game under new coach Matt LaFleur, match up to the speed and playmaking talent of the Bears' defense. Mike Clay, fantasy writer, Browns at Jets on Monday, September 16th, Week 2. This matchup gave us Baker Mayfield's coming out party in 2018, and perhaps the 2019 version will feature 2 playoff teams. That might seem optimistic for the Jets, but second-year QB Sam Darnold finished strong as a rookie. New York has one of the league's easiest schedules, and while the defense has holes, it includes some intriguing star power. If that isn't enough, the Baker to OBJ connection under the lights could be entertaining. Casey Joyner, fantasy writer, Steelers at Patriots on Sunday, Sept. 8, Week 1. Pittsburgh's entire offseason has revolved around internal battles. Facing New England in the Week 1 Sunday night matchup will let the world know in a hurry if the Steelers were able to refocus their efforts on external battles. Mina Kimes, NFL writer, Saints at Rams on Sunday, September 15th, Week 2. As we all know, the city of New Orleans is a little miffed about a certain pass interference penalty that went uncalled in the NFC Championship game. This is the Saints' chance for revenge. It's also a great matchup between 2 of the league's most explosive offenses and a pair of teams that should be favored to return to the playoffs. Mike Sando, senior NFL writer, Colts at Chiefs on Sunday, October 6th, Week 5. Can one of these emerging AFC teams unseat New England in the conference? Is Patrick Mahomes better than Andrew Luck? This matchup is about the present and the future. Current ticket price. If you're thinking about seeing the Browns in primetime this year, here's a live look at ticket prices from Vivid Seats. September 16th, MNF Browns at Jets. Sept. 22, SNF Browns vs. 7 MNF Browns at 49ers. Nov. 14 Browns vs. Steelers. Disclaimer: Vivid Seats is ESPN's ticketing partner, and ESPN gets a commission on any sales driven through this link. Kevin Seifert, national NFL writer, Chiefs vs. Chargers on Monday, November 18, in Mexico City, Week 12. This game isn't just between 2 fun offenses and division rivals, with timing that could play a big role in determining playoff seeding. It also marks the NFL's return to Mexico City after last year's field-related cancellation at Estadio Azteca. The league has a vested interest in cultivating international fans, and it needs this game to work from a logistics perspective. Field Yates, NFL analyst, Chiefs at Patriots on Sunday, December 8th, Week 14. This game pits the AFC's finalists from last season in what was, in my opinion, the best game of the season. The chess match between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes vs. Bill Belichick is something I'm already relishing. The biggest winner of the schedule is Bowen, the Patriots. New England has some holes to fill on the roster before we get to the regular season, but the schedule sets up for them to start the season. After hosting the Steelers in Week 1, the Patriots get the Dolphins away, Jets home, Bills away, Redskins away, Giants home, and Jets again home, before the Sunday night matchup with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. If New England can beat Pittsburgh on opening weekend, it could go on a significant run to start the season. 2019 regular season NFL schedule. Are you ready for Packers at Bears to kick off the NFL season? View the complete week-by-week schedule here. Record predictions for All 32 teams picking best matchups, biggest winners, what the schedule means for fantasy, chalk, full list of Week 1 NFL lines, more NFL coverage, NFL draft news. Clay, the AFC East. By my metrics, the Patriots, Jets and Bills will enjoy the three easiest schedules. In addition to facing the rebuilding Dolphins twice, the three teams will face off with the NFC East and AFC North, which are arguably the league's two least talented divisions, besides the AFC East itself. Playing nearly one-third of their games against the Dolphins, Giants, Redskins and Bengals will certainly help these teams' playoff chances. Joiner, the Patriots host the Steelers in Week 1 and then arguably don't square off against another top-tier team until their Week 9 matchup with Baltimore. Add that to closing the season against Cincinnati, Buffalo and Miami, and the road is set for another first-round bye for New England. Kimes, the Patriots, what's new? Glancing at the first few weeks of their schedule, 7-0 is in play. After a couple of challenging matchups versus Cleveland and Baltimore in Weeks 8 and 9, the Patriots have a well-timed bye before a difficult stretch. Sando, the Rams, with only 2 games kicking off at 10 a.m. PT, not including a London game in Week 8, an early start time that teams from the West Coast hope to avoid. Oakland, 6, Arizona, 5, San Francisco, 4, Seattle, 4, and the Chargers, 4, have more early starts. Seifert, Browns fans. While the primetime schedule will add pressure and scrutiny to the team, it will give the NFL's longest-suffering fan base another jolt of excitement. For the first time in more than a decade, the league is taking this franchise seriously. Enjoy it, Yates, the Browns. I'm not diving into any reason that ties into whom they play or where they play them. This is about the Browns, long the laughingstock of the league, having 4 games scheduled for prime time. This is the team that people will gravitate toward this season. Post-free agency win totals are out. Which over or under do you feel best about picking right now? Bowen, Colts over 9.5 wins. Indy gets some early season tests with the Chargers in the opener and the Chiefs in Week 5. But I see an extremely well-coached team here that took a very smart and calculated approach to free agency, re-signing key veterans while adding some new pieces who can make an immediate impact. Plus, with 9 picks in the 2019 draft, General Manager Chris Ballard can continue to build his roster. I see the Colts taking the AFC South. Clay, Cowboys over 8.5 wins. Dallas has reached the 9-win mark in each of the past 3 seasons and 4 of the past 5. The defending NFC East champions improved the roster during the offseason, adding Robert Quinn, Jason Witten and Randall Cobb. All-Pro Travis Frederick also is expected back. Play 1.50 Riddick picks Patriots to win 12 games in 2019. Louis Riddick predicts that the Patriots will have a 12-4 record, losing to the Dolphins, Jets, Chiefs and Ravens. Joiner, Browns under 9 wins. Cleveland's schedule strongly suggests that 9 wins should be considered the high side of the Browns' win total projection. Kimes, Packers over 9 wins. After a disappointing 2018 campaign, the Packers have a relatively easy schedule compared to their division rivals, a new-look defense and, hopefully, a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Sando, Seahawks over 8.5 wins. Seattle should hit this for the 8th consecutive season with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson together. 2019 NFL Draft when, April 25-27 where, Nashville, Tennessee. How to watch, ABC, ESPN app. McShay 3-round mock. 32 teams, draft guides. I reserve the right to change my mind, but while the Browns have made big personnel strides in the past year, external excitement far outpaces reality. 4 primetime games only add to the pressure that coach Freddie Kitchens faces. There is a big mix of personalities on this roster, and public scrutiny will be higher than it has been at any point since the Browns returned to Cleveland. Yates, Seahawks over 8.5 wins. This team will be more talented than the one that reached 10 wins in the playoffs last season. The health of key contributors such as linebacker KJ Wright and, hopefully, wide receiver Doug Baldwin gives me faith that this Seattle team will reach 10 wins again. What's your early Super Bowl pick? Bowen, Chiefs over Bears. After the Chiefs hired Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, I'm flipping from my pick of the Chargers earlier this offseason. With Spags running that side of the ball, look for Kansas City to have a much improved defensive unit to pair with Patrick Mahomes and that explosive play offense. Give me the Chiefs as the Super Bowl champions over a Bears team that makes it to the final dance. Because of its top-tier defense and noticeable development from Mitchell Trubisky in his second season under Matt Nagy. Clay, Saints over Patriots. The Saints were a sky judge over real away from a Super Bowl appearance last season and improved what was already an outstanding roster during the offseason. They're arguably the league's best team on paper. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady returned to the Super Bowl for the fourth consecutive season, but the dynamic duo falls short to MVP Drew Brees this time around. Joyner, Chiefs over Eagles. The hiring of Spagnuolo should reduce the number of shootout games Kansas City gets into and result in an AFC title for the Chiefs. The Eagles have the most complete team in the NFC as long as Carson Wentz stays healthy. Kimes, Saints over Patriots. I was tempted to pick the Packers because I like the moves they've made this offseason, and I think we'll see a return to form for Rodgers, but the Saints roster is too complete to pick against. In the AFC, I believe Mahomes will continue to shine, but I don't think the Chiefs' defense improved enough to challenge New England. Sando, Chiefs over Vikings. Kansas City is an easier pick than the Patriots in the AFC at this point, simply because New England is in the early stages of completing its defensive staff and filling out its roster. Minnesota should have a top-5 defense, with an offense that should benefit from continuity and more under-center concepts on early downs. Draft Academy documents the journey of 6 prospects: Nick Bosa, Marquise Brown, Drew Lock, Tyree Jackson, Jarrett Stidham and Josh Jacobs. Watch on ESPN. Seifert, Saints over Chiefs. But for a few controversial officiating calls and a quirky overtime rule, this could have been the Super Bowl 53 matchup. The Saints have been knocking on the door the past few years and have as many pieces in place as they have ever had. And you can count on Chiefs coach Andy Reid to open the season with a host of adjustments to counter opposing defenses that spent the offseason trying to stop quarterback Mahomes. Yates, Patriots over Saints. The Saints return what is one of the league's most balanced rosters, and presuming they can find a boost to complement Michael Thomas in the receiving group, they should continue to be explosive offensively. While the Patriots need to continue to beef up their offensive skill group, the team is stacked on defense with what could be the best secondary in the league. 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks rule.